Welcome everyone to WWE Wrestling Bros, and this is a live stream that is being done. This is your host, Canadian Yorker, here coming to you with another WWE Wrestling Bros wrestling talk. So I'm coming on today because I want to talk about Crown Jewel. Uh, I'm talking about Crown Jewel today because unfortunately, my partner in crime, Boone Steele, is not able to make it today for Crown. We tried to do a wrestling talk, and we were not able to do it. So I'm in here today to be in place of him, and so we can complete this wrestling recap live stream of Crown Jewel. So in other words, let's just get down to business and get this thing done. All right. So over the weekend, October 11th and Saturday, October 11th, Crown Jewel took place in Perth, Australia, which, by the way, was the same place which I believe SummerSlam also took place in the last time we covered. It wasn't SummerSlam, but it was another event that occurred. This article that I'm reading, the Crown Jewel results, is from Bleacher Report and BleacherReport.com. So it says, "Welcome to Bleacher Report's live coverage of WWE Crown Jewel 2025. This year's event was the first time WWE has staged a Crown Jewel outside of Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. So fans in Western Australia were excited to get a premium live event, especially during John Cena's farewell tour. Here's a look at the card from Saturday's show. Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes, the Men's Crown Jewel Championship, Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie McMahon, Women's Crown Jewel Championship, Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns, Australian Street Fight, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors, and John Cena versus AJ Styles." So, of course, in the last Crown Jewel event, the Crown Jewel last took place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. That was the last place it was at, and this is the first time that WWE has had Crown Jewel outside of Saudi Arabia, and it's expanded to Perth, Australia. So let's look at what happened. Let's see the results. The very first match, we have Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Of course, both of these individuals have been feuding. That goes back to SummerSlam. Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns have been just going at it, and Bronson Reed stole Roman Reigns' shoes twice. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso defeated Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at SummerSlam, and so they have been going back and forth, and it's just been a lot that's been happening between them. I believe that they took out Roman Reigns for some time. So now Roman Reigns is back, and he's feuding with Bronson Reed, and because Bronson Reed has called himself the tribal thief, not the tribal chief, so he is trying to steal. So he's basically trying to take away everything from Roman Reigns. So it says here, the Vision defeated Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. That was the last time we saw them in action. In SmackDown October 3rd, Roman Reigns defeated Bronson Reed back in a clash in Paris. So it says here, after all the usual PLE opening procedures, Bronson Reed was the first man out for his Australian street fight against Roman Reigns. This was a rematch from Clash in Paris. The OTC won that encounter, so the Australian Auszilla was looking for even the score. The crowd was singing for Reigns before he let loose. With the first punches of the match, he started running Reed from corner to corner, with the crowd reacting loudly to everything. It only took a few minutes before the fight spilled out of the ring and into the crowd. The OTC remained in control as he was used the garbage can as a weapon. The tribal chief was having a great time playing up to the crowd. He even grabbed the mic and asked the fans if they wanted to see some tables, which obviously got them more excited. It took a long time for Bronson Reed to finally begin mounting some offense. Excuse me. When she did, it became more of a back and forth fight. Once Braun Breaker, of course, was interference. Bronson Reed is going to need help to defeat Roman Reigns when he doesn't actually need help. But anyway, Braun Breaker showed up to assist Bronson Reed, and it gave the Usos came out and to assist the Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns had backup, and Bronson Reed also had backup. This match was made up of a series of small sequences. They would do a few things, but then there would be a momentary lull before they moved on to the next sequence. It's not unusual for this kind of contest, but it was, oh boy, noticeably replaceable. So, in this match, Bronson Reed defeated Roman Reigns in this matchup. And so, unfortunately, Bronson Reed did not win Roman Reigns did not defeat Bronson Reed. I think I'm wrong. I picked Roman Reigns to win. I might be wrong, but if you see my last video that I did with Boone Steele, we basically covered our picks for the Crown Jewel. So there's a lot that happened there. So Bronson Reed won against Roman Reigns and defeated Roman Reigns. So the score is evened pretty much. It's evened up 1-1 here, and so there we have it for that matchup here. Roman Reigns lost to Bronson Reed in this matchup. So moving on, we're gonna move on to the next match. I'm just kind of skipping past it here. Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer. This is for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. And in the last Crown Jewel that I watched and saw, Io Sky defeated. No, it was Liv Morgan defeated Nia Jax to win the Crown Jewel Championship. And now we have Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Crown Jewel Championship. And in this matchup, I did pick Tiffany Stratton to win because she is definitely been on a roll. Boone Steele picked Stephanie Vaquer to win against his girl Tiffany Stratton. However, it turns out that Boone Steele was correct. Despite the fact that Tiffany Stratton has been on a roll as of late, and she's been winning her matches, she's been undefeated, and she's been a great champion. She has definitely been suffering with injury issues. Stephanie Vaquer is a fresh champion, and so she definitely got the win. So continuing here, the Women's Crown Jewel Championship was up for grabs when Stephanie Vaquer faced Tiffany Stratton. Neither of the titles were on the line, but the CJ belt, Crown Jewel Championship belt, won't be defended like a normal title, so this was purely a fight for pride. The crowd chanted for both women as the bell rang. They circled each other after a couple of times before locking up. They had a nice few exchanges, but when Tiffany Stratton extended her hand as a sign of respect, Stephanie Vaquer tried to fight her. That Primera was the more aggressive competitor. She wasn't working like a heel, but she wasn't leaning into being a baby face either. The longer the match went, the more competitive it felt. Both women used some moves we haven't seen from them to make an attempt to make the match stand out. They had a couple of sloppy spots. The majority of what they looked good. Stephanie Vaquer got the victory with a corkscrew moonsault to become the second Women's Crown Jewel Championship. And Triple H came out to present her with the belt for winning the Crown Jewel Championship. So there we have the result of that match. Stephanie Vaquer wins that matchup between her and Tiffany Stratton. So there we have it. That's the results, everybody, for that matchup. The next matchup that we have was AJ Styles versus John Cena, and both of these men have history. Once again, in my prediction, the prediction videos that myself and Boone Steele did, John Cena, I picked John Cena to win this matchup, and Boone Steele also picked John Cena to win this matchup against AJ Styles, despite the fact that AJ Styles has beaten John Cena numerous times since he's been in the WWE, despite the fact that John Cena has a more amazing career. But in fact, I think AJ Styles could have definitely won this. But he's definitely getting up there in age, just like John Cena is. He's not the same athletic individual as John Cena was back in the day. So we're gonna have to see him retire, sadly. But John Cena's on his farewell tour and he's on his retirement tour. So he only has 4 more dates left until he is officially retired from WWE. So it is needed that John Cena had to win this match, and John Cena won this match in style against AJ Styles. The third match of the night was one of the most anticipated heading into the show. For the last time John Cena and AJ Styles stepped into the ring to do battle, both men got a warm welcome, but the crowd's reaction to John Cena was definitely louder. Both men had special introductions by the ring announcer. Once the bell rang, they locked up and went to work. AJ Styles applied a simple headlock to start. They weren't rushing into anything because they knew they had a lot of time to fill. AJ Styles was a step ahead of Cena in the first sequences, which led to a TNA chant from the crowd. After a few minutes of the phenomenal one outpacing the 17-time champion, John Cena decided to look a little gassed. He made a comeback and hit the 5-knuckle shuffle, followed by the attitude adjustment, the AA. But he failed to get the pin. When he tried to use the STF, AJ Styles countered into a crossface. It seemed like both men had a counter for everything the other tried. They had a sequence where both men were using their own finishes and moves from some of their bigger rivals, but neither man could seal the deal, which was fine for a crowd. They chanted "Fight Forever." So continuing the match, it says here for roughly 30 minutes, AJ Styles and John Cena had the crowd eating out of their hands, and it took a tombstone power driver followed by an attitude adjustment to finally put AJ Styles down for the 3 count, with John Cena defeating AJ Styles in this match, and John Cena getting the win against AJ Styles. That's quite unexpected for me to learn that John Cena used a tombstone power driver. That's a move from The Undertaker to actually defeat AJ Styles. He used a tombstone power driver and the attitude adjustment to do it. I mean, AJ Styles is really he's really good. He's one of the best wrestlers out there, and he does his job very well. And so John Cena, myself, and Boone Steele's pick was correct. John Cena won this matchup against AJ Styles, and that's great for Cena, having lost to Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, which was a shame in itself. Like, it shouldn't have been a loss against Brock Lesnar. I mean, he basically got plummeled against Brock Lesnar. Let's just admit that. But for him to lose against Brock Lesnar, I mean, he's beaten Brock Lesnar before. Why can't he beat him again? Cody Rhodes has beaten Brock Lesnar twice, nearly 3 times. He's beaten Brock Lesnar, so it shouldn't be that. I mean, it will be difficult for John Cena to beat him, but John Cena can beat Brock Lesnar, but he is older now. So what else can I say? John Cena won this. John Cena won this match against AJ Styles, and that's great. So, next match we have the Kabuki Warriors and versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, which I think is kind of the one of the more interesting matches as well. We have this is basically a sort of the breakup of Damage Control in a sense. You know, you had the Kabuki Warriors who were part of Damage Control. Io Sky was part of Damage Control. They had Asuka. You had Bailey as well, and the last person, I can't remember, the other member of Damage Control, Kylie. I can't remember her name, but basically, it's kind of unfortunate that the Kabuki Warriors were dismantled the way they are, because I know that as Asuka was out for nearly a year, nearly 2 years with 2 knee surgeries. So she's been out for some time. But I like the development. You know, they wanted to kind of keep the Damage Control going, but they were broken up, unfortunately. And I just really interested to see what their potential was, how far they could go, because of injuries that settled on them. Dakota Kai, that's her name. Yeah, so Dakota Kai was also part of Damage Control. So it's unfortunate that Dakota Kai, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Bailey, you know, had the unfortunate demise. I would have loved to see more of Damage Control as a heel faction, but unfortunately they didn't last that long. So it would have been great to see more of that going forward. But I could say they were a pretty dominant faction. But going into this match, that's just enough rambling for me. Going into this match, you had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. So the Kabuki Warriors, last time they were in action, they defeated the Judgment Day on September 1st on Raw. Kairi Sane defeated Io Sky on Raw on October 6th. Rhea Ripley defeated Asuka on September 22nd. So they had a few matches against each other. Australia's favorite superstar was up next, with Rhea Ripley partnering Io Sky to take on Kairi Sane and Asuka in a tag team match. Now, Io Sky and Kairi Sane are actually former tag team champions in this match. So I definitely was going with the Kabuki Warriors to defeat Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. However, because they're legitimate, they're a legitimate tag team. They're a really good tag team. Unfortunately, if they had not lost, if they had not been hit with injuries, and defeated, you know, if they were not defeated the last time they were in action, you know, we could have seen a really more dominant run with them. So I'm not gonna just dwell too much on the past, but I'm focusing on this match here. So continuing the match, we see here Australia's favorite superstar was up next, with Rhea Ripley partnering with Io Sky to take on Kairi Sane. Okay, continuing. Rhea Ripley started the match, but it didn't feel like it got going until Io Sky tagged in. Early in the match, Asuka made her feelings clear when she tried to offer a handshake, only to pull it away and yell at Io Sky, the genius of the sky. Rhea Ripley and Kairi Sane were taking breathers so the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, and her favorite former friend could have a long sequence to themselves. Io Sky had the upper hand until Kairi Sane got involved again and helped Asuka to send her into the ring post. Io Sky spent a long time on defense while the Kabuki Warriors double teamed her. Io Sky and Asuka both tagged out of the same time, and the crowd exploding when Rhea Ripley came in and started beating both her opponents. This was exactly what we all expected the match to be. All 4 women brought a lot of energy and physicality to the match, so this was entertaining from the start to finish. There wasn't a weak link. Everyone played a role and looked great in between the ropes. Kairi Sane sacrificed herself to save Asuka, but it led to her demise as Rhea Ripley and Io Sky hit their finishers on her for the win, with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley defeating the Kabuki Warriors in this match. So, in this match, I mean, I made the pick for the Kabuki Warriors to win, but unfortunately, the US guy and Rhea Ripley won against the Kabuki Warriors. Um, and Ruin Steel picked Rhea Ripley and, well, actually, Ruin Steel and Ruin Steel picked Rhea Ripley and Io Sky to win against the Kabuki Warriors. I do have to admit that Rhea Ripley is an equalizer. She was a tag team champion herself, and she's definitely knows what it takes to win to be in a tag team match. So that's what happened in the match. Going forward, I'm going to move forward to the last match of the night. We have the Crown Jewel Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. And it's a very interesting matchup because Seth Rollins actually has a losing record against Cody Rhodes. He's never beaten Cody Rhodes in a PPE. His record is literally 0-22. He had a losing record in for 3 years. He's been losing to Cody Rhodes for 3 long years since WrestleMania 38. Seth Rollins has always had a losing record to Cody Rhodes. He has 22. He is 0-22 against Cody Rhodes. And so in this Crown Jewel Championship match, you're going to see what's going to happen. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton lost. So the last time that they faced each other, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton lost to the Vision on SmackDown October 3rd. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch lost to CM Punk and AJ Lee at WrestlePalooza. That's the last time we saw Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins in action. The main event was the Men's Crown Jewel Championship match between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. WWE made sure to remind us several times that Cody Rhodes had a present 3-0 record against the Visionary heading into the show. Man, yes, he does have a 3-0 record against Seth Rollins. However, Seth Rollins, going back 3 years, he actually has a 22-0 record against Cody Rhodes. Going back all the way back to WrestleMania 38. Okay, this goes back in history. Okay, you can look it up. The American Nightmare came out of the gate hot and sent Seth Rollins out of the ring to throw a tantrum. Cody Rhodes came after him, but the Visionary took control. He started working over his opponent's leg and taunting him. Every match that these two have had has been great, and this was no exception. This likely won't be considered better than any of their previous encounters, but it told a different story than those matches. This was about how desperate Seth Rollins was not to let history repeat itself. He tried to use the watch Cody Rhodes gave him as a weapon, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. This allowed the American Nightmare to make a comeback and hit a flurry of moves for a two close out. Both men took some big risks and had some close calls, but on the way to the finish, Seth Rollins used the watch as a weapon behind the ref's back before hitting a super stomp for a pin to become the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. And in this match, Seth Rollins wins his champion. For the first time in 3 years, Seth Rollins wins against Cody Rhodes for the first time in 7 years to snap this losing streak he has had to Cody Rhodes. So now he is 1-22 against Cody Rhodes. I gotta say, for Seth Rollins, it's an accomplishment for him for the first time in 3 years to actually defeat Cody Rhodes. Yes, it is an accomplishment for Seth Rollins. Unfortunately for Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins cheated to win against him, much like he lost his championship to John Cena, and he lost twice to John Cena, but he did manage to beat John Cena and get his championship back. But this is for the Crown Jewel Championship. This is just a matter of pride, as this article has mentioned, that that the wrestler is not putting their titles on the line. It is simply to determine who is the better champion of the brands between Raw and SmackDown, and obviously Seth Rollins got the win on this end. So we get this. and we got Seth Rollins winning against Cody Rhodes, and that is what happened in this match. So, learning here, also got the rating for the match. I'm just going to give the gradings as well. I'm going to have to say overall, for the Crown Jewel Championship, I'm going to give this rating I'll say most of the matches were B's. I'm going to have to give this rating a B plus for this match, and I think it was good. There's a lot of improvement there that could have been made for the Crown Jewel, but now that WWE is on ESPN, there's so much things that WWE can accomplish, more things, and they're getting back to what they're doing as a company and improving the stories. So that is something that is really interesting. With what is going on with with WWE. One other thing, myself and Boone Steele picked Seth Rollins to win against in this match against Cody Rhodes. We thought that Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins was going to get help from Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker to win against Cody Rhodes, but unfortunately, Seth Rollins didn't really need the help because he had a watch that he was given by Cody Rhodes, and he used that watch to take out Cody Rhodes and get the win against Cody Rhodes for at Crown Jewel. So it's a win for Seth Rollins. He finally wins for the first time in his career against Cody Rhodes. So that is all for today, everyone. Thank you for listening to this live stream for today on Crown Jewel, this recap video on Crown Jewel. I hope everybody is enjoying their day. It's been a pretty rainy day for myself since it's been raining outside all day, but I'm making the most of it. Gotta make the most of it despite the weather. So I hope everybody's staying warm and dry inside and enjoying their day. So don't be afraid to like, share, and subscribe to WWE Wrestling Bros and also to Boone Steele and Canadian Yorker's YouTube channel. So hopefully, we will see you in the next WWE Wrestling Bros live stream. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next live stream.